existing salad at the restaurant now. We have cauliflower, broccoli. We'll get a lot of Romanesco and broccoli leaf, and just sort of fold it all in there. You could put kale in there if you'd like. So pretty much that whole family we could go ahead and do. So to start, we'll take our broccolini. Normally, we'll leave the edges on. At the restaurant, we'll peel down the edges, but for the most part, broccolini is kind of ready to go right out of the box and right out of the bag. So put it there. We'll do a little olive oil. Do some salt and chili flake. In the recipe card, it says Aleppo pepper. It's a Syrian chili. It's not too spicy, not too smoky, not like your traditional chili flakes. They have a little more flavor to them. So I'll put the chili onto the broccolini before it goes on the grill. And normally with like chili flakes, the bigger ones, the traditional ones, they'll burn. The Aleppo, you actually are toasting the chili itself. Sometimes you could use ancho chili or arbol chili. And basically you just want to develop that flavor as you're cooking. So we'll put a little olive oil in there. So we're going to char that off. In the meantime, we have some cauliflower. And the way I like to essentially do all of the Brassica family, cauliflower, cabbage, broccoli, is a lot of char, lots of color in a very dry pan. So we have a little cast iron pan here. We'll add what was our raw broccoli to that pan. So we'll get a nice little char on this. Broccolini is one of those things that, depending how much char you like, we could keep going with it, or we could pull it back and marinate it a little bit more. So the cauliflower, we had some brown on it now, but we want to get a little bit more darker. We want to really develop all those sugars in it. And the same for the broccolini. I always feel like, boiled broccolini is one thing, and lightly sauteed broccolini is another thing. But once you start putting that char flavor on there is when you really, really develop the flavor in it. You got all these little buds on there that sort of caramelize and get nice and crispy. So you really want to take your time with that and get some color on it. In this case, we did a 4-to-1 ratio, 4 parts water, 1 part quinoa. Bring it up to a boil, put a lid on it, and then just let it steam at a low heat. And it's about 45 minutes or so. At that point, we'll let it marinate. We'll put our vinegar, put our mustard, our herbs, whatever you really need to do. And you can let it sit, and you're good. So we have our charred broccolini, charred cauliflower. We'll add a touch more chili flake. We'll add our touch of salt. And then we'll add a little bit more. We have our olives, Castelvetrano. It's an Italian variety olive. You could also use Cerignola, depending on what kind of olive you like. Spanish olives. I happen to like olives that are extremely briny. So I like the Spanish olives. If you want to put the pimientos in there, you're more than welcome to. So we also went ahead, we got some of the florets and just took a little time with a pair of scissors and cut all the little florets off. We can mix that in there also. And the finished dish, we have our quinoa. We got some raw shallot, a little that was left over from the vinaigrette. Again, the more you add to quinoa, the more it'll take, the more marinade it takes, the more flavor you have. We'll add a touch of salt. I know it's a lot of salt. Olive oil. We got our quinoa. We've got our charred Brassicas, olives. We made a vinaigrette out of lemon juice, some shallot, a little mustard, a little oil. Very straightforward. Not too much, nothing to overpower the vegetables themselves, because we want the vegetables to taste like vegetables here. Give it a little mix. A little lemon juice. All right. So quinoa, I know it says a platter in our recipes, but we could do anything. And then inside of that, we'll do some of the broccolini, the cauliflower. It's a little big for the bowl, but it's okay. We're all good.